Yo, Crypto Nation and mining family, what's going on out there? So today, going to be bringing you a little bit of a part 2 of the BCU1525 build. As you guys knew from the last one, I had a couple of leaks. One of the leaks I did address. Wasn't an issue with that. So hopefully everybody can hear me just fine on here. Still kind of waiting for everybody to kind of start rolling in. Everything looks good according to OBS side. So, so as some of you guys would have known already, while I was installing this really fancy distribution block that from Diamond Tech. Now I like this little block here. Problem that I had was, as I'm dropping stuff, but I actually broke one of the fittings. So this is supposed to screw through the block into the water block that's on the BCU1525. The one side was sealed up perfectly. I had no issues with it. When I went to the other side, when I put the pump on, it started dribbling. That and one of the fittings on the radiator. On the radiator side, the only thing that I was able to really do to fix the problem was to basically put some Teflon tape around the threads. Now, I didn't think I was going to need to do anything like this because of the fact that all the fittings have rubber O-rings on them. So there's theoretically should not have been a need to put Teflon tape of any sort on the threads, but it looks like with the copper radiator, there might have been a defect in the flange of where the rubber O-ring is supposed to sit on, something small, but it was able to seal it up with some Teflon tape. Yes, I do have it running, guys. It is hashing away. I can actually show you guys really fast here. Bam. So this is both of the BCU 1525s that I have. You can see that they're both running at about 290 watts. Temperatures on everything are very good. And then you can come down here and you can see that I've got 14 gigahash, 13 gigahash. So I'm sitting just under, right around that 14 gigahash. It'll spike up to 15, 16 gigahash here and there. And then it settles back down, averages out probably around 13 to 14 gigahash per BCU on average. Why is it acting all weird on me? It's acting wonky. This is probably why. There we go. Stupid stuff sometimes doesn't want to cooperate. So to kind of distract you guys from the human malware outbreak, in Illinois, we are on lockdown. Only essential people on the roads, unless you're going to your local store. You can't just go to the next town and, they got a better deal over there. No, they don't let you do that. You got to have proper documentation. You go to another town, you must have papers. So it's kind of gone into that category. They don't want anybody to really travel around at all unless you absolutely have to isolate your butt kisses at home. Unfortunately, with my job, I'm an essential person. So I've got special paperwork waiting for me at work whenever I show up there on Monday morning. Of course, I'm on shortened hours, all that good stuff. Chris is like, how many accounts are you using, Crypto Mikkel? We can use as many as we want. So since I'm just getting started up into it, first thing that I'm going to be basically doing is I'm going to shut down the BCU rig right now. What's really nice is I can actually command that right from here. So This is SSH, so I can SSH into the rig. It's running on Linux, so this is nice and easy. So I just go sudo and then one word, power off. And as soon as I hit enter, it sends the command through and starts to turn off the rig. And bam, she closed. It's done. It's a done deal. Should be off right now. Oh yeah, she's already off. So the first thing that I'm going to basically be doing is I'm going to take the rig and I'm going to unplug it from the mining room because I just turned it off as of right now. And I'm going to put it down over on the table, right up over here, guys. So hold on one moment as I basically real quickly unplug. I got to unplug an Ethernet cable. I've got a video monitor hooked up to it. And I have a power cable hooked up to the power supply. And this thing is currently running on 220 power. So it's nice and efficient and all that good stuff. So bear with me, guys. I just got to go get the rig real fast. And then the other couple of things that I needed to grab really quickly was some power and a 110 power cable so that I can actually test fire the water pump and check for leaks before it goes back into the mining room. So I'm gonna put, probably want to put that on the other side here. And I might as well just bring the microphone up over to the table so that I'm all prepped up over there. And let's switch over to the table. Yo. Set this good stuff down. There we go. Oh, that's right. I need something soft to go underneath that. Otherwise, every time I touch the table at this point, the microphone's going to pick it up because the table is actually it's like a cedar chest, so it's kind of hollow on the inside. So if I put everything down onto a little bit of a fabric, it doesn't resonate through. All right, so here are the two 1525s, two of them. You can see that I've got a fan blowing on the back sides of the cards themselves. And you can see that I just basically hooked everything up with hoses instead of the WaterBlocked itself. So basically, step one will be, it's going to be draining the system back out. Fun, fun, fun. And that's why I have me a little bucket here, a little catch basin. I'm going to unhook one of the hoses off of the water pump itself since it's the lowest part of the system. It should drain out most of the fluid that I need to get out of here. So let's go ahead and get this right. All right, the fun part. Trying to get this without making a mess. Ooh, radiator's still kind of warm. Come on. Must break out the tools already. All right. Let's get this wolf here. Looks like I should be able to just wiggle this just a little bit. Almost want to kind of want to open up the cap on here to help get everything out. All right. All right, so I just drained out the reservoir. All right, yeah. I might as well pull this up, make sure nobody's got any questions. So if anybody's got any questions at any point in time, feel free to ask away. All right, so the next step is going to be going to start unhooking the BCUs, because that's what I'm really going after right now. Get the power cables out of the way, yeah. All right, those are out of the way, and let's go ahead and start unhooking the hoses off the BCUs. And make sure that you have no power running with this when you're playing with the coolant. It is a little conductive. I'm just saying. Pull that away. And I've got the inlet this side. All right. All right, so, and then we'll go ahead and start hooking the risers themselves a little bit here, just so I can just, yeah, let's go ahead and just see if I can get to these safely. There we go. The second one's a little harder to get at. So we're gonna have to just unhook it. USB cable. You. Same for you. Some bolts that are holding down this. Come back here. And all right. You want to be careful about unhooking all of this stuff, due to the fact that, well, these are, you know, $800–900 pieces of hardware for one. And then two, you're trying not to make any more of a mess than you really have to. So as you see, I'm now holding the you don't see it actually. I'm holding the BCUs up so that the water flows more into the block, so I can take off this back hose. Bunch of fun. I think I got it. Sorry if I'm not really showing this. I'm basically just taking off the hose here, so that I can separate these two and drain them out the rest of the way. Which they didn't hold that much in there. Look at that. All right, so let's go ahead and slide this down just a little bit so I'm a little bit better in the camera view here, showing off what it is that I'm doing. So now I'm going to take the fittings off of the WaterBlocked themselves. All right, so I guess I can go into starting to put the block onto here. Get a couple of these fittings. It looks like the O-rings are all the same. And make sure that the fittings where these will go on are facing away from the BCU. It seems to be that is the correct way to put this on. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the fittings for the WaterBlock, for the hoses onto the distro block. And it doesn't have to be Herculean strength to put all the stuff on, just good and snug, that's it. All right, perfect. So this one was the farthest in. This one is the farthest out. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take off these fittings. And I'm going to start putting the distro block on. Now, first thing I want to do here is check one thing. Okay, so I'm going to have the same problem, it looks like. It looks like the distro block needs to sit really flush. Hopefully I got one of these to sit real flush. Oh no. Huh. So it looks like I might have to loosen up the back on here and see if I can even get this thing to, I'm gonna have to loosen up the distro block a little bit and see if I can tighten it up onto here and then lock it down onto the BCU. So I'm gonna grab myself a screwdriver. Yeah, right over here. Awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna loosen these up right in the end. I'm not taking anything off, just loosening it up. We're gonna see if I can force this block on here. If not, the hoses are staying. And I might have found myself a design flaw with their system here. I hope not. So hopefully I can get this all together properly. I really would like to use them. They are really nice looking. All right. Like this. Make sure the O-rings sit properly. Do this. Do it like this. Ah, I'm like dripping on myself. Oh, I just piddled everywhere. Nice. All right, so let's see. If I can like refrain from dripping on myself. Let's see. Hold the block right. All right, so it looks like my idea of loosening up the back plate to do this was a great idea. As long as I'm not dripping on everything, we are good to go. So it looks like I should be able to just tighten her. All right. All right, so it looks good now. So I'm going to tighten down this back plate. Hopefully that's all I needed to do originally. And it's something that's not in the instructions. There we go. All right. Everything's nice and dry. Cool. All right, so get a couple of these other ones on here. Oh, excuse me. If any of you guys got any kind of questions or anything like that, certainly ask away. The fun part now, which is going to be putting the second FPGA on here. Because this kind of like locks them both together a little bit. It's a nice design on here, but it's a little interesting trying to connect things together. Alright, that one started. Like I said, it is interesting to start these. Alright, now I gotta make sure. Oh, there's a peas on me some more. Thank you. Alright, cool. Alright, so now these are one. All right. So as you see, now these things are back on. They look like they're sitting very flush and all that good stuff. So hopefully, fingers crossed, there's no more issues with leaks on this thing. Tighten this bad boy down. All right, I can kind of move the coolant over here, and I know I'm wearing some of it. Nice. Now I've got 2 extra fittings, not an issue. All right, so go ahead and start hooking hoses up to this. I'm gonna put the how do I want to do this? Usually I have hot going out top and help push it through. So trying to figure if I want to put the hot on the bottom, might as well. Cold on top, hot on bottom. Yeah, that sounds good. Hopefully I don't have any real leakage issues. Put the cold up here. Alright, looks like should be good to go. Looks like everything's hooked up properly. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to disable the motherboard so I don't have to worry about the motherboard trying to turn on and start the mining program up. So I'm taking off the CPU power, and then I'm going to be unplugging the motherboard main 24-pin power, and I'm putting this little adapter piece in there so I can test fire the power supply with no control out of the motherboard. So now that's done. Bam, just like that. And I know I'm gonna have to put this fan sitting here somehow, so that I can blow air in between the two cards, so that I can keep the back plate of this one a little cooler. It just needs a little bit of air blowing on it. It doesn't need to be like, oh my God, you have to have all this air. And then you want to make sure your fan is, that's right, these Energy Max doesn't tell me which way you blow. I'm going to leave my Corsair one over here because it is blowing against the back plate on this one, so it won't be an issue. I guess the next thing I need is some power for the pump. So, go ahead and get over here. All right. Got some of that power. That's awesome. Motherboard should not power on with this. So we got my cable all over the place here. All right. These 1600 watt power supplies have some serious freaking power cables. Okay, cool. All right, so I should be able to just start pouring this coolant back in here. That's why I used a nice clean container so I can reutilize this. All right, now full. All right, now let's test to see if there's any kind of leakage. Oh gosh. I hope I have no more leakages. Yep, exactly. Serpent XSF. Time to check for leakage. My concern is the distro block. Oh, I think we got it, guys. So it definitely was the fact that you need to, when you're hooking up the distro block, where the PCB touches the actual distro block itself, you have to loosen up the water block, mount the distro block on there so that it pulls the water block all the way to the back of the PCB, and then you can tighten everything down, it looks like. I have no leaks. Yes. I'm gonna go get some more fluid here because it looks like I'm a little low because it's really aerating right now. Bam. All right. No leaks. Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. So much yes. So I'll let it sit here for a moment. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna top this thing off a little bit. All right. Holy cow, it's got a lot of air in there. Trying to work out the air bubbles out of the radiator. You can hear the radiator gurgle. But what's nice is I've got no leaks. Baller. Yes. So I guess from this point, I've got to sit there and figure out how I'm going to mount this fan right here. So I can mount it just like this. Just got to figure out which way the fan will spin before I mount that up. I believe that it blows out the back side here. but there's no marking. This is one of those few fans that doesn't show a direction of where it's actually blowing. So I'll have to actually fire up the rig a little bit here. And when I'm doing that, I'm going to unplug my hard drive. So I'm not worrying about it booting up from the into the hard drive area. I might even have to use, I don't even know if I've got enough zip ties for this. Hold on one second. All right, here we go. Constant pads. Baller. I know, out of zip ties, the absolute worst. I've got big zip ties. I just don't have the little ones. A whole lot of the little ones. Let's see if I can do this. Hey. There we go. Awesome. Oh, these are those zip ties that Mikkel was talking garbage about. I see why. They like break instantly. Of course, I might have put it in backwards, maybe. I don't know. I don't think I did, but possible. Right. Mikkel's like, yeah, those zip ties. Ugh. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start plugging some of this beautiful power back into it so I can turn that one fan on so I know which way I'm actually plugging this bad boy in. All of that power's in, that power's in. right, so I am right. So it does go on this way. Cool. All right, let's get the other zip toy in here. As I go ahead and start breaking these. Pull through. Yeah. All right. So I can get it into there like so. And I need to get 2 other zip toys, better ones than those. All right, so got some big zip ties. Pull these bad boys up. There we go. All right, cool. So that is pretty much it. So now I gotta hook up the power back up to it. Power to the risers. Let's see if I can get down a little bit lower and see this. Cool. And I just need a USB to go up into here. One. Here's. All right, cool. All right, that's pretty much everything hooked back up. I mean, for the most part, I could turn this thing on like so. Hit this button right here. What the heck was just rubbing on me? Oh, probably that. Aha. That needs to go off to the side, just like so. All right. Beautiful. So now, I can go ahead and just undo all my powers and all that good stuff. Hook up my thing right there. And you know what? I think I'm going to put this back into the mining room. And let's see how this thing fires up now. All right. Let's see how this works. Get back up over into my awesome seat over here. Over here, get my microphone all set back up. Bam, just like that. So now that thing should, you know what? I forgot to do everything but hook up the Ethernet cable to it. Dang it. Let's see if this thing is actually doing something. Right, so it's definitely not. I might have to restart it because I didn't have the Ethernet cable hooked into it. All right, should work now. Technically. All right, so we're partially back up. I'm like looking over at I have a screen hooked up to it right now, so. acting goofy. I'm gonna have to power it back down. So it's actually only registering one card on here. All right, should be working a little bit better now. Let's see here. Try this one. Now it's gonna act all goofy on me. I don't know why. For some reason, it's only showing one. So hopefully I didn't just botch up a riser, because this rig frame's a little harder to get the risers off of. It's not an issue if the riser just went dead on me. I just need to figure out why. I have to figure out which riser is the one that's giving me a problem. So I just unplugged one of the risers, seeing if it's which one it's being put to, because like I got green lights on both of them. So that's not an issue. Hey, what's up, Cordic? So I'm having an issue with one of the FPGAs not registering, and I think it's through the riser. That's just my idea, I think. And the computer's still booting up over there. All right, so it should be back up. All right, so undefined, huh? Looks like it's still kind of loading up over here. There we go. So it is the one that I think it is, and of course, it's the hardest one to get the riser off of. Oh, God. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna unplug that one and just kind of replug everything in there. Maybe I didn't sit everything into the riser right. I'm just gonna go from there. We're gonna try this. Need a light for where I have to plug it in. So I got green flashing lights. Ugh. All right, so it looks like I got green flashing lights on the FPGAs, which signal that they do work. I don't understand why I'm not getting any readings off of it, though. There we go. I got them both. So it looked like either the power cable to the riser didn't get set in all the way, or I think it was the USB didn't get in all the way because it's in a really bad spot on the frame. There's like a frame wall right there at right by the last card, and you got to like finagle your hand in there. It's not like the regular Veta frames where it's all nice and open, like the one right behind me where I can grab each one of the bars individually. Unfortunately, oh, how big is the power supply? Good question. I'm running an EVGA P2, yeah, platinum power supply. It's a 1600 watt power supply that I am running on 220. The reason why I went with a 1600 watt versus like 1000 watt is that each BCU can take up on the high side of 350 watts. So with two of them on there, I'd have 650 watts, plus the motherboard, the CPU, which is the motherboard's a B450X Gamers Edition. It's an ROG, Asus ROG Strix with a 2700X. So I'm looking at another 100 watts plus fans, 150 watts, we'll say. And, we got the pump on there. We've got 420 millimeter fans for the 480 millimeter radiator on there because it is water blocked and all that good stuff. So I wanted to make sure I had enough power, and I didn't feel comfortable with 1000 watt unless I was putting two of them on there. But I had a 1600 watt just off to the side. I was like, this would probably be the better option. This way I'm hitting, really close to that 900,000 watts already. So I'd rather just have more overhead with the power supply, but that's just me. And Cordic, since you're coming in a little bit late, what I was going after is there was a distribution block because I'm water blocking in the FPGAs. And it looked like the one side of the distribution block, when it bolted up onto the water block for the BCU1525, the PCB was protruded forward a little bit, which caused the whole block to sit on there crooked. And as soon as I turned the pump on, it started leaking. I thought it was just one of these fittings that I broke was the issue. I just thought it wasn't getting tight enough is what it was. So I went to tighten down one of these and then snap. I'm kind of like stalling, letting everything kind of ramp up. It already looks like my temperatures are lower, just right off the bat. From what I can see, it looks like it is a little lower, but the FPGA has not fully ramped up yet. I'm trying to wait for it to kind of ramp up. While it's mining 0x Bitcoin, it will hit a wattage of about 289 to 292 watts. At that point, that's when the BCU is basically fully warmed up for what it's going to do. And then you've also got to wait for, also coolant temperature saturation, because as the coolant starts to reach its high-end threshold of what it can absorb, then you start seeing where its true temperatures are at. Water blocking versus air cooling, you're not going to see huge differences in between them unless you've got an inadequate air cooler. Putting this water block on there is like putting the best air cooler money could ever buy on there. I don't even know what kind of a cooler that would be, just to be honest. That'll be able to pull off that kind of heat. Some of those air coolers say that they can handle, 500 watts, 1,000 watts. That's basically the area where you're going to want to have a air cooler be able to compete with that much wattage pulling through. So we're at 166 watts, and my temperatures are 57, 54, 53, 51. So my phase temperatures seem to be better. But again, it's not fully ramped up, unfortunately. I wonder how long this is going to take. If you guys want to wait here for a second, I'll definitely keep an eye on this for a moment. And at least I now know the identification of each BCU now. Now I get to sit there and label them, because I'm going to know which one's which now. It's like, yes, thank God, I know which one's the problem. So I was wondering how I was going to tell the difference. I knew I was going to have to turn it off and turn it back on in order to do this. We're starting to crack into 170 watts. Ooh. This thing ramps up from 150 watts and then just slowly starts increasing wattage over time. I'm not sure why it does that. My suspicion is that it's trying to slowly warm up the PCB instead of just nailing it full power and watching everything break. Knowing that the FPGA chip is temperature sensitive, so if you get the chipset too cold and it starts to mine on it, you actually run a chance, and you'll hear it. I've heard it from extreme overclockers when you break the CPU or you break your GPU. And what ends up happening is you get it so cold that you put it underneath the workload and it starts to warm up, and something expands while something else is contracting, because as things warm up, it expands. When things cool down, it contracts. So if you've got extreme cold contracting something and a portion of the chipset starts to warm up and expand, it's going to cause like a lot of tension under pressure. And not always, but sometimes you'll hear a little pop, and that'll be the last time anything works on that chipset, because when you pull the cooler off, you're going to either see like a little pit mark in there where whatever it was blew out of the chips, out of the die set, or you're going to see like little fragments of the silicon, or you're going to see a big gnarly crack right down the face of it. I've seen pictures of it. I have not experienced that myself. All right, so we're starting to encroach 180 watts, and we are at 60C. So it looks like the temperatures are actually a lot better, guys. I'm just gonna say it like that. It looks like my temps are better. Here, I could probably go like this, like that. So you guys can see what I'm looking at here. Bam! Bam! So now you get to see that we're hitting 180 watts now. It's still ramping up. And these are the temps that I've been kind of keeping an eye on. They've been hitting 100, 101 in here, especially on these two temps here. So I'm hoping that now that I've separated them, that these temps will now stay a little more controlled. But man, it does take a hot minute for it to start doing this. I'm just saying. And then down here, you can see the hash rate valid. So I'm at 10 gigahash a piece about on them. These temps have always been good. I have not had to, actually it's these three temps or 6, 3 on each card. These 3 and 3, so 6, have always been really low. It's been the phase temperatures. I'm not sure exactly what these phase temperatures are. I'd have to ask somebody who knows the BCU1525s a little bit better than me to know what the phase out is and all that good stuff. Because this is still relatively new. I'm used to GPUs and CPUs, so being able to set it up is not that bad, but understanding everything you're looking at, you know, I just saw these temperatures being a little high initially, and they're actually staying fairly nice right now. But the coolant loop is also cool right now, so it'll probably take a good 20-30 minutes for the BCU1525s to actually warm up the coolant all the way, for you guys to actually get a good temperature, a good temperature readout on this. So I'm thinking that you know, you guys probably don't want to wait. I'll give you guys an update either through DCA Adventure or on my next video. I'll give you guys an update on temperatures and all that good stuff. So with that being said, you guys got any questions before I sign out? It's been almost an hour and a half, so if you guys got anything, now's the time to ask. Any water blocking questions, anything like that. One thing I can tell you is I did not use any Teflon tape except for the one fitting on the radiator that seemed to try to leak on me. Which once I put the Teflon tape on there, it seemed to be fine. I don't know if it's an issue that the plug had, the O-ring in the plug, or the radiator itself on that one port had an issue. I have no clue. I'm just very thankful that a little bit of Teflon tape that you can get at your local hardware store was able to solve the issue. And I was able to put the pump on to full blast, which I did here too, and no leaks. I'll keep an eye on this for the next couple of days. That's typical whenever you do a custom water loop build, is for the next day or two after building it. Keep an eye on it. Make sure that you're not getting any kind of seepage or any kind of dribbles that might happen after it's been under load and cycling, and all that good stuff. So I don't see anybody having any other questions. I wonder if anybody on the DCA Adventure side has any questions here. So let me go over here, because I know it is live streaming here too. Let's make sure none of you guys over here. Let's see if anybody's got any questions over here. All right, so hey, we got Jay Keen, Unknown Crypto on DCA Adventure. All right. So anybody on DCA Adventure has any kind of questions before I sign out of here? And I'm glad you made it, Unknown Crypto. Awesome, awesome. Well, it doesn't look like anybody has any kind of questions. And thank you, Crypto Mikkel. You're awesome too, my brother, man. Give it one last little look-see. So it looks like at 203 watts, I'm at 68C on the one card. Looks like one of these is a little warmer than all the rest. It is what it is, but they're all within, you know, 5% of each other. So I'm not going to cry over a degree or two difference between them all. Even my GPUs, you know, right after I rethermal them, there's usually one that'll run a little bit warmer than everything else, and it doesn't matter what I do on it, guys. So I'm figuring BCUs will be the same thing. So if you guys got any kind of questions, now's the time to ask. Otherwise, I'm going to sign out here and go about my day. And definitely, guys, you're going to have to catch up on some of me and Mikkel's podcast on Mining Mondays. So we'll be discussing all of that. I might even give the Mining Monday guys a little bit of the information first. Depends on when I decide to drop another video. All right, so it doesn't look like anybody's got any kind of questions. So I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Be safe out there. I can't say this enough. Wash your hands. Take a bunch of vitamin C. If you're outside and you're doing daily stuff, refrain from touching your face. Whatever it's going to take, do not touch your face. Wash your hands a lot. And when you guys come home and you've been out and about working or going shopping, strip down at the door. That stuff goes right into the washing machine. Wash your clothes and go hop into a shower. You're basically decontaminating yourself if you're ever worried about it. So if you got anybody that's got compromised immune systems and stuff like that, this is some good suggestions that my wife was able to find, who is a nurse. So vitamin C. If you're out and about and you feel a tickle in your throat, you feel dryness in your throat, stop what you're doing. Gargle some salt water. The human malware likes to live in your throat first. And then it goes from your throat to your chest. And when it goes into your chest, that's when you have issues. So as soon as you feel a tickle in your throat, start gargling warm salt water. Drink hot soup. It doesn't like heat. Drink some hot lemon water. The lemon water has got antibacterial in there, and it's also good for your system. So definitely just kind of, keep washing your hands. When you come in from being outside and you've been in public, treat your clothes like it's got the plague on it and just go wash it. And then you yourself go hop into the shower. The virus can live in your hair, So it's wise to shower as soon as you get home. Take a nice, long, hot shower. Good advice, Oh, yes. Dig Deep Miner. We should do, I should do a tutorial on the software that I'm using. That's actually a really good suggestion, Dig Deep. I think I will do that. Future episode. And the only reason why you see me touching my face is because I haven't left my house and I'm clean. I've been disinfecting my house so that I don't have to worry about the human malware virus. So yeah, Dig Deep, I will definitely do that for you. Do a tutorial on the software that I'm using right now. Eventually I'll be switching over into a new software also. Kind of check out, I think it's called Bravado. And give an in-depth, detailed how to use, because the program that I'm using right now is actually based in Linux. So I've got Linux on the hard drive right now. They do make some that'll work with Windows, but not the program that I'm using. But they do make other ones that will work with Windows. The problem with the Windows side of it is the fact that driver updates. you got to kind of stay on top of making sure your drivers are always up to date. And so I'll have to play around with the Windows side. Whenever I put everything together on the rig originally, I did have a hard drive with Windows on there, had. Reason why I say had is my brother cleaning up all the wires, he accidentally mixed up my Corsair cables with my EVGA cables. So not realizing it, I thought everything was EVGA in the box. I grabbed out a cable, it was a Corsair, and whenever I turned on the power supply with the hard drive on there, all I heard was a little psst, ah. Yeah, that hard drive's done. So thankfully it was only one cable that I grabbed, and I went through the whole box, and I'm like, anything that looks like this cable. Went through, found one more. I'm like, oh, thank you, bro. You mixed them up on me. Oh well, live and learn. I'm not mad at him. Just a little bit. If he's watching. So I'll have to get another hard drive if I want to play with Windows on there, just so that it's easier, because I like to have a hard drive with Linux just already on there, already set, ready to go. I was hoping to have a Windows hard drive so that I can, experiment with both sides of it very easily. I'm not like downloading, reloading. So I won't be doing the Windows updates or anything I won't be doing like a Windows one until I can get another hard drive. So stay tuned for that one. Does anybody else have any other questions before I sign out? Anything? I know there's like a few second delay. Doesn't look like anybody's watching it on my crypto and hot rod side right now. Looks like being that it's midday, people are probably still trying to figure out how to deal with the human malware virus, So since we have no other questions, guys, I will definitely keep you guys updated, do another video of when is the S-hash bitstream coming out. So with that, I've been talking with a few of the developers. It looks like they have the S-hash one ready for current. I think they're still testing it. I don't know how complete it is, just to be honest. It looks like partway through, a couple of the devs are thinking that the algorithm's going to be going completely prog pow, which if that's what they're thinking, they might have stopped development on the regular S-hash, and now they're trying to start finishing up on the prog pow end of it. I don't know if they're going to actually implement prog pow. I would say if I was a dev for Ethereum, I'd be like, let's skip prog pow. If you don't believe in mining, let's not try to make a mining program or a mining algo that's more power intensive than the algo that we currently have. And if they're going to proof of stake, they should just be concentrating on making that right. Stop dilly-daddling on unproductive stuff that is not going to be there for the long term. Why do a baby step when you can just implement proof of stake? Just get it done with like a Band-Aid, get back to work, do your thing. That's just my concept on it, where I don't think that, Vitalik Buterin needs to be wasting his time on prog power. He does not believe in mining. So I'm cool with that. That's fine. Have your, I'm cool with him not being in the proof of work. That's fine. Proof of work is, of course, not the only way. In my opinion, it is the best way, but it is not the only way. Will it be the best way? Will proof of work be the best way forever? I don't know. Will somebody come along the side and actually make a proof of stake that works correctly? It'll happen. How about that SHA-3? Well, that's where Ethereum Classic is going to be going to. SHA-3 is FPGA Playground. So if Ethereum Classic switches over there, they're going to have a very stable net, very secure, safe network that will have good dedicated hardware for it. They will be, in essence, getting rid of the ASICs. That is awesome. And there'll be something that's for the FPGAs that will be, hopefully very profitable. But one will have to see on how it goes, because I was talking with another developer that's actually friends with the main devs for Ethereum Classic, and they're kind of been arguing back and forth. Are they going to stay with Ethereum and reintegrate back in with Ethereum, or are they going to actually propose to fork and go into SHA-3? So it looks like there's like a little bit of a disagreement that the two main devs of Ethereum Classic are having. I'm sure they'll hash it out. But yeah, I mean, the one guy the one developer that I know, he ran pools for Ethereum Classic and stuff like that. He's a big firm believer in Ethereum Classic. He was just saying that until they figure out the direction that they're going, that he wasn't going to continue building on their platform until they have concisely said, this is what we were going to do. That particular developer that I know, he is a fan for Ethereum, which is fine. He likes Ethereum. He's been building on Ethereum platform for a few years now. But he wants to build on Ethereum Classic also. But, a little bit of an inner squabble. They need to work that out. Once they do, I think that they'll be stronger for it if they go to SHA-3. That's just my opinion. If they walk with Ethereum, then there really is no necessity to have Ethereum Classic if they don't try to fork away from it. That's just my opinion, but I could be wrong. Any other great questions before I sign on out? Anybody else? Anybody else? Oh, no problem, Dig Deep. Anytime. All right, so it looks like I got no more awesome questions from you guys. I think I'm gonna call it here. So, guys, be safe out there. Don't leave your house unless you have to. If you're got health issues, try to find somebody that that's going to be practicing safe practices while being out and about, so they don't contaminate nothing, and have them do some stuff for you. I'm sure there's going to be some hotlines that come out for people who have compromised immune systems that are on their own, that they can reach out to somebody and get the necessities that they're going to be needing. I'm sure there's going to be programs out there for this, guys. So, guys, everybody be safe out there with this human malware. And I'll definitely see you all on the next one, guys. So I'll definitely see you later. Peace. Oh, guys, remember, smash that Lizzie like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification if you haven't. And guys, share this video with at least one other person. That helps me grow this channel to get all this great knowledge out to all of you awesome people. With that, guys, peace.